What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 14 of the Blue River Bow Hunting Podcast. I got a.k.a. the neighbor on again with me this week, and we have a really cool show lined up for you guys. We have Katelyn Armstrong from Ohio. She's a self-taught bow hunter, big saddle hunter in the public land woods, and we're going to have her on to talk everything from saddles to public land to filming gear, all kinds of stuff. But how's it going, Katelyn?
Good. How are you guys?
I'm not too bad. Having a few drinks on a pre-Christmas Eve night, so it's pretty good.
Nice.
So I start the show the same way every week. How did you get started in hunting?
Oh well, so there's a picture of me that my parents have at the house, strapped to my dad's back at 2 years old as he's going scouting in the woods. So you could say I've got introduced to the woods at a very young age. Although I was born in Ohio, I grew up in New Hampshire.
Oh,
and
wow.
When I was 10 years old on one of these scouting trips with my dad, he was looking for deer sign, being super serious, and I was playing around with sticks or something, and I stumbled across a shed, and I found a good half of must have been like an 8-point at least, a good 4-point shed, and seeing my dad's light up with the excitement, because I don't know if you guys know, but
Mm-hmm.
hunting in New Hampshire is incredibly different than hunting the
I've watched a few
Midwest.
videos. Yeah,
It's quite challenging in my opinion. They don't have the deer numbers that we
Mm-hmm.
have down south here, so finding that, he was so excited that I found that, and that was kind of like the moment where I knew as a kid that hey, I want to get into hunting. And even though my dad always took me with him, I don't think it was ever expected for me to become a hunter. It was definitely he was fingers crossed that
Right.
it wasn't pressured on me or anything. And yeah, that was definitely the moment where I wanted to get into it. And then when I was 12 years old in New Hampshire, you're allowed to hunt with a rifle. So when I was 12, I got my first deer, a doe. And then very next year after that, he took me out again, and I got a 8-point buck, saw it chasing 3 does, and waited 10 hours on an all-day sit, saw nothing.
Oh, wow.
I ate my sandwich and his, I think. So, and then once...
That's awesome. You did an all-day sit at that young of an age. I know 30-year-old men that can't sit in the stand that long.
I just did back to back. I just did back to back this year. It was a tough year for me, and I did back to back all day sets. Never planned on doing it. Wasn't set to do it on purpose. It was just I lost it in the moment. I just sat there. Before I knew it, I was like, "Holy cow! I might as well just stay."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, if you can imagine being a kid, you get pretty bored in an all-day sit. And
for a kid to do it,
freezing my rear end off, and I'm
Yes.
pretty sure that's why I ate his sandwich too, because I was just I'm bored. I'm so
bored.
hungry.
Yeah.
I love all-day sits. If I can pack a bag with water and a Gatorade and maybe something to pee in or something like that, and a couple sandwiches, I'm good. I can sit there all day. But a lot of people, they don't really take that approach, I don't think.
No.
I tried to get Ryan to do that a couple times, and he just wasn't really all for it. He likes to do 5 or 6 hours, maybe something like that. But I think it was opening weekend of shotgun here this year. I got him to sit from because we came out of the woods about 11, and we saw that they were cutting the corn on the other side of the river. So I was like, dude, let's get in the stand. They're going to be pushing deer to us.
Oh,
we
definitely.
sat from 11 to dark, 6 o'clock or 6:30 at the time. He's like, I'm never hunting with you again.
You didn't see anything?
No, we didn't see a thing. Even with them cutting the corn. And this year, I don't know how it is out by you, but we didn't have the best deer season around here. I don't know what the factors might be in all that, if weather had factors or whatever that might be, EHD, that kind of thing. It just seemed like the numbers were really low compared. Like he's talked before, in some property that he hunts, he could set somebody up on deer whenever somebody wanted a kid to shoot a doe or something, he could set them up. And I hunted it with him a lot on that property this year, and we saw very, very low
little
numbers.
I'm going to go back, though, to where you said when you first started, what got you first started. It kind of just brought a light bulb in my head. When you said you were 10 and found your first shed. I got 3 boys. They all hunt. They asked me today, what was my favorite Christmas present when I was a kid? I couldn't think of anything. I couldn't tell them. But you remember as 10 years old finding your own shit. It's amazing how much deer hunting reminds you. I mean, you remember it your whole life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
those
are kind
of...
of...
just finding the shed.
Yeah, kind of ingrained memories, too. I think my dad's excitement had a lot to do with that because as a kid,
you made him happy.
He'd drag me out to go scouting with him, and I'm like, well, why are we here? And I wouldn't really want to be out there all the time. And I think that moment was like, oh, there's excitement in this. I did something important,
Yeah.
I say you're 10 years old and found a shed. I'm 30, almost 33 years old, and I've never found it. And I walk for miles, and I've never stumbled upon one. And I walk, like I said, I walk and walk and walk, and I don't find shit.
Now, is that something you and your dad still do, or?
Oh, we still hunt together, yes, sir. He still lives in New Hampshire, but he just left from Ohio. He comes every single year for the week of gun season, and we hunt that whole week together.
So I watched a couple of your hunting videos last night. One of them you called after you killed your buck, and I was like, I thought it may have been your dad on the phone.
Yeah,
that's
he's
awesome.
The first one I call, he always will be.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's my number one fan.
Now, is he hunting public with you?
Oh, yeah. Actually, this year was the first year that I set him up in all of my spots. And we had a lot of jokes this year about, like, me growing up. He would be like, here's your tree, stay here. And this year I was like, Dad, here's your tree stand, get in it.
Don't move.
Yeah, like, here's your spot. And I was dropping him off before light and picking him up after dark. And he's like, I'm the kid.
So, you talk about going deer hunting with your dad, shooting one with the rifle and stuff. You told me that you're a self-taught bow hunter. Does he not bow hunt?
He does bow hunt, but he only gets 1.5 days off a week. So as you can imagine, that's not really enough time to get the things done around the house and teach your kid how to bow hunt.
Yeah,
right.
He did buy me a bow when I was a teenager, but it was one of those things where I just didn't get good enough to be able to go. And then, I grew up and moved away, and it was basically like you're on your own.
Right. So tell us a little bit about how, the stuff that you went through being a self-taught bow hunter.
A lot of mistakes.
Guarantee it.
A lot of failures. So I was nervous to teach myself. And my granddad my granddad had passed down his crossbow, which you can imagine probably is like in the 70s, across like this ridiculously old crossbow. I get made fun of it all the time. But
17 pounds.
Oh, it was a beast. Yeah, and not in a good way. And it was passed down to my cousin, and he was like, oh, I'll sell it to you for super cheap. So he sold that to me, and I figured, like, from gun hunting my entire life now, when I started using the crossbow, that was 4 years ago. So, I mean, I was 24, 25-ish, and that was the first time I picked up an archery equipment. And so I knew there was a lot of learning I had to do, especially memorizing deer anatomy, because using an arrow is very different than a bullet. You can't have the same mistakes. And this really old crossbow, like, did not even shoot 30 yards, and 30 yards might have been sketchy. So, like,
it was almost inhumane.
Yeah, like, I mean, it shot, but it definitely sounded like a cannon going off. And
did you kill one with it?
Oh, yeah.
Did you really? Awesome.
Oh, yeah. And I killed 2 with it last year, too, before I
So
upgraded.
You still have it?
Oh, yeah. It's not safe to use anymore, but I still have it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely sketchy.
So what kind of bow are you rolling with right now?
I got a Diamond Infinity Edge, nothing fancy, just one of those, like, hey, everything comes on it, it's ready to go, just, get it fitted to you. So, I mean, I didn't have a lot of money to work with, and I didn't really know where to put my money towards, so I figured first bow, just better start off with something simple.
I tell you, I had a bow that everybody's bow was faster than mine. Everybody made fun of this bow, but I killed 30-plus deer with this bow, and I absolutely loved it. But then I watched Ted Nugent shooting a bow that shoots 35 pounds, and I was like, well, see, guys, leave me alone.
Well, but, whatever's legal, right?
You don't have to have an expensive bow to bow hunt.
No, you don't.
I mean, you probably shoot great with one you have. But everybody wants a new one.
My ancient crossbow will prove that night and day.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, do you think after you get a few seasons under your belt with that bow, and then when it's time to upgrade, do you think you'll know like what you want in a bow or like the accessories to go with it?
That's what I'm hoping for, especially because bow equipment is so expensive that I want to know that like I just don't want to put my money into like a couple $100 sight when I don't even know what I need.
What you want.
Right. Like I'm so new into archery. I don't know a lot, so I just wanted to watch a bunch of videos and learn what I like, and then I know where to put my money, I suppose.
Yeah.
The new thing is the single pin on the sights. A lot of people are using those because you can go yardage. And me, I'm like, I see how the hunts you've had, some of them have been close encounters that happen fast. And that's what scares me about doing that. But I got buddies that swear by them. I'm like, I'm sticking to the multi-pins.
For me personally, anything that's one more thing I have to do with the deer coming in, it ain't gonna work. Because with self-filming, like that's one more thing for me to fiddle with, and one more movement I have to make. I already got to turn on multiple cameras and draw the bow back. Like, no.
Right.
Yeah, that's well put. I agree with that 100%.
I like shooting the 3-pin. I've always had a 3-pin. 20, 30, 40. Anything past that, I'm in a flat. Indiana woods. I'm not trying to shoot 60 yards at an elk or something. So I like to stick with the 3-pin, 40-yard max. That deer I shot in Ohio this year, it was at 41 yards, so I had to compensate, basically nothing. But oh, here we go. We'll get into that here in a little bit. But
this is my first year using all 3 pins. Last year, it was my first year bow hunting, so I'm like, 1 pin.
20.
Let's not complicate. 20 yards. That is it.
Yep.
Right. Talk a little bit about hunting Ohio, maybe some of the terrain that you're hunting, and we'll get into the public lands after that. But just talk about a little bit of the terrain that you're hunting there in Ohio.
Okay, so one thing that I've noticed about Ohio is like if you drive an hour, the terrain is completely different. It just depends on what land you hunt on. Currently, my favorite spot is kind of a terrain where it's not extremely hilly. There's areas where there are a bunch of ridges and open hardwoods, and then it completely changes and it's like a lot of vines and thickets and small trees with a ton of limbs to go up. So creek bottoms, not a lot of open field, not a lot of ag. Most of the ag, in my opinion, what I've seen for myself is private. So it's I don't know. I'm not used to hunting ag. It's mostly like open hardwoods, thicket, just different terrain, a lot of transition areas, stuff like that.
I would say we kind of specialize in hunting ag because here in Indiana, that's all we have. I mean, I'm hunting. One of my biggest deer I've ever killed was in a fence row in between 2 blocks of woods, and most people would have said I was crazy for even setting a stand there, let alone kill a 135-inch deer out of the middle of nowhere. We have just a lot of flat land, and we hunt a lot of edges along those, ag fields. And they can be pretty fun, but I don't get to hunt those hardwoods as much as I would like. He has a property that's basically all hardwoods with some rolling timber in there. But when I came to Ohio, I hunted like northeast Ohio this year for the first time, just public land hunting, and it was really, really ridgy. It reminded me a lot of like Kentucky, really. Yeah,
I grew up hunting northeast Ohio, and it's a lot of up and down ridgy terrain and really steep bottoms. And I grew up where it's like when you shoot a deer, you just pray that it doesn't go down.
Yep.
So
I shot a
calling
deer.
Your buddies.
Right. I shot a deer in Wisconsin last year, and thank God it didn't go down to the bottom of this place I was hunting. And the guy said to me, had it went down any further, it would have taken us 8 hours to get your deer out of there. I was like, I'm glad that wasn't a part of that. I'd have been all sweaty for that.
No kidding.
So when I came to Ohio, I hunted northeast Ohio. I don't want to mess this name up. I'm terrible pronouncing words, but is it Coshocton County? Is that how you say it?
I couldn't confirm or deny. I'm not sure. I'm not from that area. I don't know. Like I said, I grew up in New Hampshire, so a lot of the areas in Ohio are still pretty new to me as well.
Okay.
So.
Well, it was like a
sounds good to me. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know how to pronounce it either.
Right? I didn't want to butcher it, and you'd be like, "Well, this guy's a dick," you know. But we came there the second week of November. I had killed a buck here late October, so we kind of just like, "Hey, let's do it." We went over there. Public land in Ohio in the second week of November is stacked. There was a lot of hunters in the woods, and I think that's why we didn't see as much as I would probably have liked. Do you run into that quite a bit?
A huge problem. Challenge, however you want to say it. Rutcation is a huge thing on public land in Ohio, and
that's what I was doing.
A lot of out-of-state hunters come in and hit the public hard those first 2 weeks in November. So, you know, the areas I'm used to hunting where I'll see like 21 deer in a day, once those hunters start, I just have to walk as far as I can away from them.
Yep.
Wow.
So.
You know, and I did that. We had 2 days left, so it was probably midweek.
Vacation though, when you walk far, they walk farther. That's crazy.
I walked as far as I could. I actually broke my climber the first day I was there, which is a whole other story upon itself. But I said to myself, terrible luck. This whole trip was terrible luck. But I was like, you know what? Screw it today. I'm not going with a stand. I'm just taking my bow and just rolling as far as I can roll. I'll hunt from the ground and have fun with it. You know, I'm on vacation. I want to have fun with it. I shoot this buck at 40 yards through some thick stuff. As soon as I shoot this deer, I didn't even know it, but there was a guy 40 yards from me. He goes, "Oh my God, you smoked him!" I'm like, "Oh my God, you just scared the living shit out of me, dude." I had no idea you were there. But they have like an overflow campground. We stayed at a place called Woodbury Wildlife Areas where we hunted, and there was like 27 camp spots, and like all but like 2 were taken. So, and they were all out-of-state guys, like you said, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Kentucky, Michigan. I mean, there was guys from everywhere. And one camp, let alone had 20 guys, if you can imagine. So it was, I couldn't imagine that place during gun season. I probably wouldn't even try that out.
So I hunt Kentucky out of state. We hunt it in September, though. We've had luck. The pressure's not as bad. So do you have better luck early season because it's not as pressured?
I hunt all season long, so I think it's hard for me to just like determine when exactly I have the best luck. Early season is hot, and the deer don't move as much. So if you're asking me about does, it probably doesn't matter what time of year. If you're asking me about bucks, I would say I probably have the absolute best luck right before the rut hits, when pre-rut starts kicking in and they start getting up and moving around. Anytime in October where the temperature drops, like I'm canceling everything and going in the woods.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've killed a buck 2 years in a row on October 27th, and I personally see more action pre-rut than I do during the rut. You know, they get into the rut, they lock these does down. And, you know, we was talking about it, I think the last time me and him did a podcast. I don't know if you guys are the same way out there, but when we're done hunting, like during the rut, we call it driving the block. We like to drive around, see if any other hunters near us are having success, or, you know, just see the deer out in the fields, you know, who's still out hunting, that kind of thing. And we just didn't see any deer. Usually the deer are running buck wild, you know, shotgun season around here, and we just didn't see anything. We have like a week left, I think, to try to kill some deer. But I killed one, and I had a buddy kill one, and we've had some other buddies kill some nice bucks, but me and him personally, because I filmed him a lot, and we just didn't have the luck this year.
He's my jinx. I've been 8 years of killing a buck, and this is the first time in 8 years I haven't got one yet.
Oh, man.
But my biggest buck came from Kentucky, and it was like September 8th or something like that, and it was 90 degrees, and he scored 152, and between, I think there was 5 of us, that maybe 6 of us hunting state land. And I think the reason why I killed him was he got bumped by one of my buddies. I do not think he's up. So, like, my buddies are like, let's go back in September every year. I'm like, God, it's hot. Well, you killed your biggest buck. You killed, I think, but in my mind, I'm thinking he had to have gotten bumped by somebody to be up on his feet.
Yeah, probably. And I don't run into any hunters until November. Like,
That's
if I
what
run into somebody even in October, I'm completely shocked. Like,
Wow.
See, that's what I was telling him. I said, that's the difference of us going, because we end up going back to Kentucky October 31st and November 5th. We go back, but man, it's like, holy cow, the parking lot looks like it's, your grandma's got a garage sale going on. Everybody's parked.
So what about private land? Do you have any pieces that you've picked up there close to you?
no. One piece of private land is the very first piece of private I've ever hunted in my whole life. And it's 40 acres. And I made a deal with somebody, one of my clients actually from work, and she's this sweet old elderly lady, and I've been friends with her for like 2 years. I didn't even know she had property, and made a deal with her. She lets me hunt it, but it's 2 hours away. So
that sucks.
it's really hard to try to like figure out property, that's 2 hours away, and it's only 40 acres, and it butts right up next to public. So, my dad and I, and my husband, we go there during gun season because all the guys hit that public land hard, and you just see the deer start flying across the road onto our side.
That's
so
awesome.
It works out pretty good for gun season.
Nice. Heck yeah.
Do you think that you here in the next couple years, are you going to try to pick up some more pieces?
Per private, potentially. I mean, I have no problem trying to ask people permission, and I've done the door-to-door thing before. But to be honest, I love the thrill of public. I like knowing that I can't like mess it up too bad, I guess, because the deer are kind of used to people moving around, and I don't know. I'm used to it, I guess.
It's a challenge, and it's freedom. You don't really. I mean, if you get big public land, you can go forever.
Yeah.
If you get private, it's like, well, I got to stop here, or, but no, it's just you can go wherever you go for a long ways.
Yeah. Yeah. On private, like, you have to worry about, like, oh, man, what if the very best spot is, like, close to the edge of, the line of the property? Then it's like, okay, do I back up?
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And, then you have to
if
worry
he runs
about...
across the fence, I'm in trouble.
Exactly.
I've dealt with that before.
Although I do get jealous of people who hunt on private land, sometimes where...
got the big huts and everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a whole different conversation.
Right. It was nice. He's got like a little box bind that he built to taking his boys and stuff. And I've been with him when it's snowing and raining. I'm all for it. But other than that, I like being out in the elements and being elevated,
Yep.
Yeah, same.
There's nothing like having that advantage.
You don't like having the heater and the recliner?
That is nice. But I'm the same way. Like, it's really good, but, like, I don't even really pay attention for deer when I sit in that thing. But when I'm in a stand... Yeah. I'm paying attention, like on needles, ready for something to go down. But when I'm in that thing, I'm like, they don't even hear me. I've had them get within like 6 yards from me in that, and they don't even know, and I'm sitting there eating snacks.
Yeah.
So it's not the same.
I've never tried it, never had the opportunity to try it, but I just feel like your heart wouldn't get as racing, especially if you're, up in there, and I don't know. It's just you're not, like you said, like you're not in the elements, and then you don't have to be as careful with your movements, and
your scent.
My 9-year-old pulled it off pretty easily, killing one this year. He killed his first doe with it, and it was a crazy story. I'll tell you real quick.
That's awesome.
We get out to take him, and he's my city slicker between the three of my boys, and he says he ain't hunting, and finally this year he said, "Dad, I'll go." So I was like, all right, the day before, he said, I packed all my stuff. I said, you got everything ready? I didn't check it. Now I just know we're going to have fun. He knows we're going to the hut. We get out of the truck, and it's rained that night. He's got his school shoes on. I'm like, what in the world? So I carried him all the way there, and he climbs up, gets in there, and I'm messing with some stuff. And the time I get up there, he had a snack sitting out. He had his drinks. He had like 3 drinks, a tablet. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Before it even got daylight, he's asleep. So... As soon as it gets daylight, I'm looking around. I'm just letting him be. He's being quiet, I see a doe. She's 15 yards. Well, I'm trying to wake him up, but if he lifts his head up, she's probably going to see him. So I wake him up, but I'm holding his head down at the same time. I'm like, do not lean up. He's like, what? You want me to get up, but you don't want me to look? What's going on? But I'm holding his head down. So finally I get my phone to where I can just hold it over the window, and he can see the deer through my phone. And he's like, oh crap. I could feel him shaking with my hand on the back of his head. And she kind of, I thought she was where she wasn't paying attention, so he got up, and when he did, She's seen ran about 30 yards away. He jumps over my knee, throws his arm over the top of the gun, over the top with the butt not into his shoulder. And I'm like, oh, my gosh. So I got my hand on the butt, and I can't really move it because I'll mess up his shot. Mm-hmm. He shoots. As soon as he shoots, he starts rubbing his forehead, and he said, I think I missed. And I was like, please do not bleed. Please do not be bleeding. And he takes his hand off, had a big old egg on it. But he ended up hitting her, and he forgot about it, never complained about his head or nothing. So
I think his first deer?
That was his first deer, yep.
Yeah, well, you can tell him that happened to me on my first deer, too. Right?
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We've had some cool hunts as the youth season goes here in Indiana the last few years. I filmed his other son, Caden, the last couple of years, and he missed a doe on his birthday, 11th birthday, missed the doe. So I tried to get him to go the afternoon hunt. I'm like, dude, we'll redeem ourselves. Come on, let's go. He's like, no, it's my birthday. I'm going to hang out with my buddies. I'm like, that's cool. You're 11 years old. I probably do the same thing.
Yeah, right.
His older brother, Dylan, says, I'll go. Okay, let's go. And that's when I first got my big filming set up. And he shot a doe. It's on the YouTube or whatever. But his oldest son, Dylan, shot a doe on video. And even after shooting the doe, he shook up. He's shaking. I'm like, I love this shit.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah. That's still, still to this day, I still shake after shooting a doe. Not as
even
much.
Even a doe, yeah.
I mean, it's
you kind of giggle because you're going to do it. But, yeah, it's going to happen. I can't stop. And I don't know how many deer I've killed over the years. Yeah. But I can't. I mean, when I know that I'm shooting, it's like a switch gets flipped. Here comes the shakes.
Something that we want to dive into, me and him personally, next year is saddle hunting. And I know that you are the person that I need to talk to when it comes to saddle hunting. So how did you get involved in saddle hunting? How did you just say one day, this is what I'm doing, I'm going saddle hunting?
Well, firstly, I might be the person to talk to if you like what not to do, because I think I might have made all the mistakes for you.
It's a start for us.
Well, it's luckily we have social media, and you can learn a lot from watching other people online. And luckily, everybody seems to be, the people I choose to watch seem to be pretty honest about their opinions about things and their experiences. And of course, I love the hunting public because their style of hunting is just, it hits so close to home. Right. And they started using the saddles. A couple of other big name people started using the saddles. And I really started watching their reviews. And the videos I found most helpful were like saddle versus climbing tree stand. What are the pros and cons? And I had a climber, and I was trying to film. And, being a female, I'm pretty strong for a female, but it's still a lot of weight. Last year, when I was using my my filming gear plus my climbing tree stand, I had a lone wolf climber. Nothing against them; they work great. But it was 18.5 pounds, plus my camera gear, my backpack, everything. I stepped on a scale. I was walking in the woods with 45 pounds on my back. Yeah. And on public land, when you want to get to your spot, you ain't going very far. And by the time you're getting there, you're probably like all sweaty. And
you've lost 3 pounds of sweat.
Oh, it was a nightmare. And it was really disheartening. And I think that's the number one reason why I was not successful last year getting a deer on film. And I think I made a lot of mistakes because of that. And when I discovered saddle hunting, I'm like, this seems like it's exactly how I want to hunt. Because honestly, I was about to give up the climber and just hunt from the ground. It was that bad with the weight. So when I discovered the saddle, I'm like, I think I need to give this a try.
Right. Yeah. I think the hunting public, man, they're just such a good example. Because like you said, you almost went to hunting the ground. Like those guys are starting to do that big time now. And I'm like, man, you can pull it off. Like they're pulling it off. So
they
almost
are
makes
pulling
you
it off.
Yeah.
And some of them are pulling it off like self-filmed too. Like you see
That's
some hunts
unreal.
where some of them are not even buddying up on some hunts. They self-film and you watch them how they do it, and you're watching the deer come in and they still get the multiple angles. And I'm like, it's possible. You can do it.
Right.
You've got to love failure, but you can do it.
Yep. So I also watched the hunting public guys. They displayed, I think they had tethered guys there and displayed how to climb, and they showed
I've watched
it
all those videos. Yeah.
Yeah. And man, that they just know how to sell the stuff without even trying.
Yeah.
Like, to make you want to do the stuff.
Yeah, I think it's just because they seem very honest. You know, they seem like they're so serious about hunting. Like you can tell, like because they're run and gun, if you're somebody that does run and gun hunting, you're not going to bring something in the woods with you unless you love it or unless you are going to use it. Like, you don't want to bring in extra gear. That's a lot of work. It's a lot of weight.
You don't bring it in, well, just in case. You don't bring that stuff.
Yeah.
So tell us like a routine from getting out of the truck to setting up with your saddle and your filming gear.
He's going to pick your brain on this because he's really wanting to
pull the trigger. I want to do it bad.
Well, I'm glad you're asking me now and not like 2 months ago, because October was all about figuring it out. I think every time I went into the woods in October, it was like different routine. So I have everything, as I've seen multiple people say with saddles before, is that you want everything in a certain order, first thing out, last thing put back in to the bag. So you can tell I probably watched a lot of YouTube video reviews on that.
But it helps.
It helps. It's the quickest way to learn, I suppose. And so I get out of my car, and I actually keep on my right cis hauler, which is that little bag on the saddle. There's one on the right and one on the left. You can add more if you want. But on my right side, I keep all of my camera gear, actually, and it's not even in my backpack.
Wow.
And that's because I switched from using a DSLR to a camcorder this year. It's a lot easier. DSLR was like level 10. I don't know why I was trying to do level 10, but I switched to a camcorder, and I found that when I'm walking into the woods, I have a lot of encounters with deer, and I wanted to be able to quickly like grab that and film it. So I just found that it was a lot easier to just have it right there. So in that cis hauler, I have like my backpack strap, my GoPro, my camcorder, and my release. And the other side, I have my lineman's belt and my tether and my pull-up rope. And my aider. That was the other thing. So I get out of my car, put on my saddle. I always wear it walking in. When I get to the base of my tree, I'm one of those people that I want to climb immediately. Like, as soon as I get to the base of my tree, I'm putting my bow on the ground, putting my climbing rope on, and grabbing a stick, putting it on the tree. And I'm like getting ready to go up. I want a minimal amount of scent left on the ground as possible. And I can't tell you how many times I've had deer come in while I was climbing. So I just want to get up that tree.
Actually, the video I watched, you had some. I think you were on your third stick, and the doe came in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I'm like, hurry. Like, I'm in panic mode until I'm up that tree and like my camera is ready to go. I am in panic mode.
Now, something I couldn't figure out. I took sticks to Kentucky this year instead of taking my Summit Climber. I took sticks and a lock on. I was like, I don't want to commit yet. But when I took the sticks, I just used a lineman's line with a safety harness. I was able to go up with no problem.
Wow.
How do you go? I mean, I practiced it before I went, just so I wouldn't test dummy in the woods and hung there. But it was pretty simple to do for me. But my problem was I would hang a stick, climb back down. Climb back up. So how do you do that?
What sticks are you using?
Oh, man, I can't remember.
I think they're XOP, I think.
No, that's the climber I took.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I think these were the Lone... No, it wasn't Lone Wolves.
Yeah, they were. They were Lone Wolf Assault.
Yes, that's what they were. They're smaller ones. They're not the longer ones.
Okay. Well, I'm lucky enough to have the tethered one sticks. Like, hands down, they've got to be the best on the market.
A buddy of mine had them, and as soon as I seen them, I was like, "Why did I buy the ones I bought?"
Yeah, tell me about it. Like
I paid a lot of money for them too, but that's nothing.
I started out with the Hawk Heliums, and I used those for about a month, and their connection system is rough. It's not the easiest, but I did connect them to my hip as I was going up the tree. Put a little paracord on there, and then they went on a carabiner that was on my saddle. Okay. So I would put the first stick on the tree, then I would take the second stick off and put it like basically as high as I could reach on the tree. So I got 2 sticks to start off with. And then once I get up to that second stick, I have my third and fourth on my hip. So I'm only climbing with 2 sticks attached to me.
Okay.
And then I could just pull them apart. Now I basically do the same thing with the tethered 1 sticks. But their connection system is a lot better. Also, I upgraded the connection system, and I got the Genesis 3D printing. They make their own clips for the tethered 1 sticks, and they are game changer. So that's what I use now, and I can get up that tree a lot faster, and it works really well.
But you backpack them in as a unit together, right? They're all together, strapped to the bag.
Yeah.
And when you get to the tree, you have to clip them to you.
Yeah, so my backpack has like the buckle underneath it. So I clip my climbing sticks is underneath my backpack. And so when I get to the base of the tree, I don't even have to take my backpack off. I just reach behind and unclip the buckles and the sticks fall into my hand. And then
Oh,
I bring
wow.
them around and clip them to my saddle and I immediately start putting them on the
Wow,
tree.
that's nice. So
Yeah.
do they? So you said you put the first two on before you really even go up.
Yeah.
But do the other two that are connected? Do they bang off each other? Or are they separated? Or are they?
No, like I said, they stay connected pretty well. They don't there's no wiggle room. I also covered them in stealth strips.
I've seen a lot of people start doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, huge difference. I even covered my carabiners in stealth strips. I had to learn that the hard way the first time I climbed the tree. Your lineman's belt can go like up and down, right? And it's attached with a carabiner on one side, and that
And it
carabiner can
clicks.
ting on the top of
Yep.
the sticks. So I kind of changed that around and I made sure the carabiner side was on the opposite of the stick side so that never happened. So yeah.
Well, I see. It's I don't know. It's off topic, but I seen you wearing a rubber wedding ring. I think it was.
Yeah.
And every
This
year
one?
every year I'm like, I need to get a rubber ring for
I got
this
a whole
thing
bag of
because I'm
them.
always clicking the dang thing off stands, and I always like I think about it when I'm in the woods. Time
Yep.
hunting's done. I forget about it till next time I go back out. So like I got to pull the trigger and get one,
Oh, absolutely.
Now
or I'll
on
get the quiet material to put around this.
your backpack that you said that you got, is there a way to put your platform in that bag too?
Yeah, so the backpack that I have is the Tide Wee backpack. It's like one off Amazon. It was like $70. It has these little flaps in the front that open like this, and it's supposed to hold your bow, but it fits my platform so perfectly. So once I take those sticks off and I climb my tree to the top, then it also has like a waist clip around your hips. So when I get to the top of my tree, I'm able to actually get my shoulders out of the backpack, bring the backpack around, completely let go hands free of my backpack because it's still attached to me. And then I unclip the platform, and then I can like put my arm back in the thing and then attach my
Gotcha.
platform.
I think that's probably my biggest concern when it comes to the saddle thing is the backpack, because most of the time, I mean, I was only behind my bow probably 5 or 6 times this year. I'm basically just a cameraman most of the time, and I enjoy that more than anything. But with the camera gear, like I have the base, you know, and then the camera arm, and then the camera, which I usually carry in a separate bag in general, just because I don't want it to get broke or anything. I use the Canon XA11. It's a bigger camera.
Is it DSLR?
No, it's a camcorder.
Okay.
With the external mic and all that.
Okay,
and
yeah.
I have to find a system. I have got to figure a system out. First of all, I think I'm going to go to changing the base for the camera arm. I mean, what's that thing weigh? 10 pounds?
Can I ask you what one you use?
Yes, it's a Muddy Outfitter is what it's called.
Yeah, no, they
Those
make
things
way
are
lighter ones now.
Crazy. I'm probably going to go to the Fourth Arrow,
I was
the
just
ones
gonna
I've been
say.
looking at.
Yeah.
And, you know, me and him were talking. If me and him were both doing the saddle thing, and that's what we're kind of running with, and we're both going up the same tree and stuff, it could be a possibility where it's like, hey, man, we at least take the camera arm or something for me, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, the backpack that I use now, it looks like I'm going elk hunting or something. Like, it's
That's what
huge.
they make fun of me for too.
It's an Insight backpack, but it's made to carry a bow, and it kind of opens up like a book or something. Like you take, it has buckles on the side, and I open it up, and I put the camera arm, which has already got the fluid head attached to it, and I use a Verizoom on mine too. So all that's already connected. So I pull the base out, get it ratchet strapped to the tree, put the arm in there, put the camera on there. It's just like a never-ending process. I have got to figure out a quicker way and a lighter way to do this, especially when it comes to the saddle, because I'm gonna be weighing 400 pounds going into the woods with all this shit on my back.
Oh my gosh. Well,
So-
I think the Fourth Arrow is probably a good one to go with. I personally use one from a guy I follow on Instagram. He's called DIY Bow Hunting, and he makes his own camera arms, and they attach to the tree very similar to the hawk helium sticks, where they have like that little bite on the top and the bottom, and it's like a little under 2 pounds, I think, and it's amazing.
You know, it was. I think this is my second full year filming, And it was just something that I put together. I mean, I did as much research as I could on YouTube and stuff like that to figure out my setup. But everybody's going to have their own way that they're doing it. And it's just like one of those things like you're talking about when you first started bow hunting. You made mistakes. Then you figured it out, and you learned from the mistakes, and you did other things that you weren't going to make those same mistakes again. So I'm trying to figure it all out because I enjoy filming so much. Like going out with him and a couple other buddies and filming them, I get just as much of a rush filming the whole process as I do actually just going out there and shooting one myself.
Not me. Not me. Put me in front of the camera. I'd rather be shooting.
I mean, I get that,
but no, he's got a different. He's got a different drive, and it's awesome. It's awesome that it works for both of us that way because it's different when both of you want to be the hunter. Like, gosh dang, you cameraed last time. We don't have any issues that way.
No, I'll gladly be behind the camera 99% of the time, but give me that one shot every once in a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this year I didn't
enjoy with the camera. That's awesome.
I love it, And this year there was a day where he couldn't go, another buddy couldn't go, and I almost didn't go myself. And I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, I'm going." So I roll out there. I go to take the backpack out of the bag or out of the back of the truck, and I'm like, "Fuck this camera. I'm going just to have fun." What happens? I shoot a fucking deer.
Every time.
Every time I leave the camera behind, something epic happens.
So. We got you explained pretty much how you get up the tree, and then you pull the platform out of the backpack. Now, the question I had was, I've always seen everyone facing the tree. Can you turn around and face away from the tree at some point with the saddle on?
I don't think so.
For if you want to shoot, yeah.
Yeah, that's where, like, if you have one come directly, like I'm facing you, if there's one behind, I know that you can twist, but can you turn on the platform and face away from the tree?
Some guys prefer to. The platforms come in all different shapes and sizes. It potentially depends on how big your boots are. Probably has something to do with it. But some guys instead, I prefer to twist and turn because I've practiced that motion and there's no balancing act with that motion. A lot of guys prefer to have the tree as like they can lean against it behind them, and they feel more secure like that. So they actually take their tether and they'll put it over their shoulder, kind of like a seat belt across them to hold them into the platform. And you can do that. But for me, I'm thinking that like if I'm at full draw like this, and the tree is behind my back, and if the deer moves this way, now the tree is I can't keep following the deer. So I prefer to do the twist motion instead. That way, nothing's gonna be in my way. Yeah.
Okay.
Plus, I'm filming, and if my back's against the tree, and I got the camera here, and that's just now my elbow's gonna hit the camera, and all sorts of complications.
So you talk about the filming gear. What all are you running? How many cameras? What cameras? That kind of thing.
She said 7.
Like I said, my first year, I made the mistake of using a DSLR. I wanted to be fancy, and that is way too hard for self-filming. Absolutely don't recommend. So I changed over to just a Canon Vixia HF 800. It was what I could afford at the time. Actually, the footage isn't that bad.
Those are nice.
It auto-focuses. I can drop it and not worry about it breaking. The audio isn't the best, but it's also not the worst if you know how to fix it on your computer later. So like it works. And it's small, it's compact, and for me that was a huge thing. And then I also am using a GoPro Hero 8 Black, and that is my second angle. I was originally using that attached to my bow to get the kill shot, but now I found that the footage is a lot better if the GoPro can be facing towards me, kind of like my cameraman would be. And then, I'm doing the one towards the deer. So I feel like those two camera angles are really good. And then anything for in the woods, I also use my phone a lot because it's so quick to pull out and film. So
what I liked is when you said when you're walking in, you have your camera right here. Like on your right side.
Yeah.
And I've thought about that when I'm walking with Brett. Like, man, if we have an encounter, yours is in your backpack. You got to pull it out. You got to unzip it all. We won't be able to be like, okay, here we go, run and gun from the ground. Let's cut him off.
I've just spent so she was talking about the camera she got. I basically have a step up version of that. It's a little bit bigger as far as being wider, but it's pretty much the same thing. and I have the external mic on it with the windsock and all that stuff. But I spend so much money on it. I'm so worried about breaking the damn thing.
Yeah.
And I might feel a little more comfortable have I had, a cheaper camera, but I'm so worried about the price of maybe fixing something that I messed up.
I will be divorced if I break this.
Yeah, exactly. And I got it, in a padded Canon backpack. It's a Canon backpack that I take. So when I walk in, sometimes it can be a mess, but I've figured how to manage that out. Like I was telling on the last podcast, I said you and Ryan probably make fun of me because I have a retractable bow hoist on my bag. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a dog leash type of thing.
They're good. They're great.
It's great. I don't like messing with the rope. And when I get to the base of the tree, I say, "Hey, will you grab my hoist for me?" That's what I always say. And he pulls the thing around to me, and hands it to me. I hook my bag up, and I go.
There you
go. It's just a quick thing that I've learned that helps my whole process out. And I don't know. I love the filming thing, but I have got to figure out a way to fit it all in one bag. So that's something I'm probably going to do a lot of research on this.
If you have the saddle, though, it sounds like you can put some of your stuff that you need in the sides of it.
Figure it out.
Those little bags, like they look little, but they can fit a lot. It feels like almost never ending to me. Like, I mean, in one bag, I got my back support strap, my 2 cameras. What else do I have in there? My release and like an extra battery pack. Like they can fit a lot.
Carry good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What kind of battery life does that camera run?
The Canon one is about like an hour. It's like 175 minutes. It says. But the GoPro is like an hour. So
on the GoPro, do you run like the remote on it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's attached to my wrist.
Yep. Ryan bought one this past season, and we used it quite a bit. So I wasn't really sure where I wanted to put that camera because obviously that's my job. I don't have to worry about pulling a bow back when everything's happening. I'm worrying about all these cameras, which is only 2, the Canon and then the GoPro. So I got the little wristlet thing too. And I have like one of those like gooseneck things where you can like bend it down and stuff. Yeah. And I actually attach it to like the base for the camera arm. So like if you watch the video on our YouTube, it's the first week of Indiana bow season, and we had 3 bucks come right underneath us. And it goes from the footage from the Canon to the GoPro, and it actually moved when I moved the camera arm. But I have the camera facing like over top of him because I'm above him, so it's like his view of what the deer. You see the deer walking underneath him, and then you see him kind of getting ready, even though he wasn't going to shoot it because it was a little bitty thing. But it was a cool view, a very cool view. But I would like to get the view, maybe put it on somebody's bow or gun or whatever, so like when you're pulling back, it's facing you and you're seeing the emotions of the hunter as he's going through everything.
You said you had yours on your bow. It was facing the kill shot though? You never had it facing back at you, did it?
Right. That's what I did last year. And then this year, after watching a whole bunch of people who are successful and stuff, I just figured that I wanted that second angle of, I thought it would be a better story to tell if you could see what I'm actually doing in the tree and like, reasons why I mess up or miss opportunities. People are like, how can you see 30 deer and not shoot one? And I'm like, well, you got to move the camera and try to go back and then watch out for limbs. And like, it gets complicated because the deer move. They don't just like stop,
Right.
Yep.
So talk a little bit about your 2021 deer season, which I know is not over yet. Well, you guys get to hunt till like February or some shit.
February 7th.
Holy cow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ours goes out next week.
2 years ago, I found a shed. December 26th, I found a shed.
My buddies have been already sending me pictures of deer that are shedding their antlers. They're shedding so early this year, so I'm getting concerned for myself because I haven't shot a buck yet. So I'm like,
oh man, yep. No, me neither. No. Me neither.
I'm gonna get one this year and drag it out by their legs, like I don't
like, with a pillowcase around their head.
Just don't drop your release again.
Oh my gosh, yeah. When that video comes out, I mean the video I have posted right now is on a TikTok for those who haven't seen it.
I haven't seen that because I'm not a TikToker.
I'm talking over it. Yeah, I'm talking over it so you can't hear the footage. But in the actual footage, you can hear my release hit the ground, and then you just hear me start cussing. And I'm just like, I hate myself so much. And then
my gosh.
I wish my GoPro was on in that moment, and I hadn't actually turned my GoPro on yet because like at the moment, in my head, I could tell like it was all just happening so fast, and I had already gotten him on the camera. So I'm like, my job's done. He's on, the kill shot's there. Screw the GoPro. Like, I'm grabbing my bow. Like, I'm trying to do things in good order here. And if my GoPro was on, you guys would have seen my jaw practically hit the ground with my release, because I was like, that is never. I had just switched to a thumb release as well, because it's just a lot easier for self-filming. You don't have to clip it onto the D-loop on and off every time you want to move the camera. I didn't know how sensitive it was that you could literally knock it off with your elbow. So it hit the ground.
Wow. No, the first deer I ever killed on camera, Birch, which was on here, I had told him it was like early October. I kept getting these does. I'd see them every hunt. Yeah. And I was like, dude, come to my place and video me shooting one of these does. And they're coming in. There's an acorn tree, and they were just eating it. I had to take my time. Well, they come in like clockwork. He's videoing them. I'm waiting for just the perfect shot, because their comments can be, I bump my knock, and my arrow falls off. And on camera, you can hear me say, oh, no. And you can hear it, but it dropped. The deer didn't even move. It was like an acorn falling, because it stuck straight in the ground.
At least you got more arrows. I didn't have another release.
Right.
True.
That might be something you have to pack in that backpack.
Oh, it's already in there. My wrist really, the next morning when I went to hunt, I was like, it's in there. Like, I'm never doing that again. But yeah, sorry. You asked me about my 2021 season, and I would have to say it's been my most successful season without actually shooting a buck.
Those are some of the greatest.
I've learned so much this season. I feel like I've become a way better hunter than I was last year. This is the first year where I've really actually understood wind direction. I have hardly gotten busted this year, just because I've been so cautious and careful. And, before it was like, oh, I know the deer are here, so I'm going to go up my favorite tree. And I didn't really pay attention to wind direction. Mm-hmm. I really put a lot of effort into learning that this year. Last year, I learned a little, but it was harder. This year, I feel like I fully understood that concept, and it's really changed things for me a lot. Wish I had learned this years ago, but I have seen I've seen hundreds of deer this year, and I'm not exaggerating. So it's definitely been a huge game changer for me to learn that. October was all about mistakes and learning. Not only was I learning how to hunt from a saddle for the first time, but I was taking self-filming so seriously that I promised myself this year I was not going to shoot a doe unless I could get it on film. I cannot tell you how many does I passed up because I wasn't able to get it on film. Or twice this year it happened where I was at full draw and I looked at my camera and the deer wasn't in frame, I didn't hit record. And so then I had to just let down and be like, well, there goes my moment. I suck. So, so yeah, that was my main goal this year, is really being able to get one on film. And we had meat in the freezer from last year, from my successful year last year. So I was like, okay, the pressure is off for getting a doe, and I just need to be patient and get one on film. Now, if a big buck's in front of me, I can't promise that I'm not going to ditch the camera.
Yeah.
But
I did that last year.
I'm sure anybody would. I can't imagine the patience it takes to getting one self-filmed huge deer.
You have to have a few under your belt.
You got to have nerves of steel, I think.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Or just a killer place where you know you're going to have more opportunities. Where we hunt, where you hunt, you're not going to have that many opportunities to be able to say, well, we'll get him on camera next time. No, it's not going to happen. Yep.
No, yeah.
You got to capitalize.
Yeah, and my standard for the buck size, too, would go down a little bit if I could get it on film. Like,
that's what I told him.
This 8-pointer on film, like, all right, like.
Yeah, yep. That's what I told him. I'm not shooting because I don't know how many I got on my wall. That's probably I got six or so that it's 130s, and I was like 140s. That's my limit this year. Well, then he started videoing me, and I was like, well, if it's on video, I'm probably going to shoot a 125 if it's on video.
Yeah, I'd be completely happy with a 125. I don't have a whole lot under my belt, so I'd be completely happy with that.
Right. Yeah. You talk about your YouTube and stuff. Like, are you collecting all of your video and then releasing like after the season's over with, or how do you go through that process?
Oh, I try my very best to release a video every 2 weeks. But depending on what's going on or how successful or not successful I am, it may change that. I editing takes an extremely long time, especially when you're somebody who likes to overcomplicate things and produce the best you possibly can. So I probably put more effort into editing my footage than people who. I'm only my second year, right, of editing, and I feel like I'm trying to produce like a 10-year like channel. Yeah, like I try. I mean, I overcomplicate it for sure, but so I'm about to release my October video. So I would say I'm like 2 months behind of like when things actually happen. So this year, my goal is to put out like one video for October because there was less footage in October. It was a lot of learning, a lot of mistakes. November, I'll probably put out 2 videos for November, one for like the first half of the rut and then one for like the second half. And then for December, probably 2 videos as well, one for like gun season and hunting with my family, and then one for the like the kill shot of the doe is my second one. So I hope to be putting out those videos every 2 to 3 weeks. But that time period is just because it takes so long to edit.
So did you just let the secret out? You did kill a doe on camera?
Well, no, I mean, I posted it on my TikTok page.
Okay, yeah.
My Instagram, so the secret's out. Yep.
Okay.
And I posted it on my Instagram, like you can see the photo.
Awesome.
But yeah, it definitely does. It doesn't. In my Instagram post, I put on there that like this is not just a doe to me. Like I pretty much almost cried when I got it on film. Like I worked so hard for that dang doe.
To the average person, they don't understand how much work goes into that. I mean, you experienced carrying 45 pounds of gear into the woods for a year.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you've done a lot. So, I guess, this talking about 2021 year. What I talked to you earlier about this when it comes to hunting stuff, hunting gear for ladies. If some ladies here watching this say, man, I need to get into hunting, where do you find the women's clothes at, hunting clothes at?
I don't have any women's clothes.
There it is.
Basically, it's like what men's clothing is stretchy that's going to fit my body.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that's a lie. I do have one set of women's clothes that I wear late season. I have the Under Armour it's kind of like a mid-season set, but I put layers under it, so I go through late season with it. I need to be mobile, so I'm not really trying to go in like a marshmallow status. But
is there a brand that you like wearing more than anything else, or because I'm a huge scent blocker guy, like that's my stuff. I love everything that they put out. I didn't know if you had like a certain brand that you like.
I don't. For women, I've heard that Sitka is kind of the running for women right now.
I couldn't think of it. Yeah.
I don't have that. And I haven't really found anything for women at all, honestly. I found some early season men's pants. They're a pair of Nomads, and they're actually for turkey season. Nice. But they're awesome, and I've gotten a lot of compliments from women online that are like, "Where did you get those pants? They're so flattering." And I'm like, they're men's, actually. But no, I don't. I haven't been able to find anything specifically for women. My bank account is also so limited. I was
gonna say, hunting stuff, man.
Sitka, I don't understand why people pay that much money for it. Not to knock Sitka, they probably have some amazing gear, but I guarantee you, this guy right here ain't paying $1,000 for a jacket.
I've heard it's worth it, but without ever testing it, I am not a huge fan of their camo pattern, and I know they do that for a reason, but their whitetail stuff, I've heard that their camo pattern is supposed to be so you don't get skylined, but because I like to do so much run and gun hunting on the ground and stuff, it's just like, I don't know if I want to go with that and then be on the ground and be wearing white and gray. Like, I don't know, and I don't know how, I don't want to invest in that, and then like, what if I don't like it?
Right. Well, I'm a fan of, I'm probably going to tear it up. I go places I shouldn't be going.
Yeah.
I mean, I go through thickets. I go through.
Same.
So, like, I don't want to get held back of doing what I love to do because I'm worried about tearing up something.
Yeah.
So I buy cheap stuff. I do, and I have no problem. I just wear extra layers when it gets cold. I don't know.
Yeah, I started wearing heated clothing this year, and that's been a huge game changer because then it doesn't really matter that my stuff isn't the highest quality because my core is heated, and I'll be happy.
That's
that
That could be huge. I need to. When I went to Wisconsin last year, during October, the high was like 14 degrees or something. That was the high, and I wasn't used to bow hunting in that kind of weather. And all the guys that they were there, they were using those heater bodysuits. Have you ever seen those? It's like a sleeping bag.
You
up
see
there.
most of those up in Canada and stuff where those guys wear them.
But I need to invest in like a heated vest or something like that. Like I feel like it would really keep you in there a little bit longer if you're getting cold, which I normally don't get cold too much. I got a scent blocker thermal hybrids that I can wear in late October as what I'm wearing, and then come gun season when it gets cold, that's my base layer, and it's super comfortable. I would recommend it to anybody, but I can see where people can drop some crazy amount of coin. Like those Sitka bibs are like $1,200 or something. Like I don't think I can deal with that.
I think my heated vest was somewhere around like $140. And
right, that's perfect.
It gets to 140 degrees.
Holy
and
smokes.
it lasts and it lasts for 4 hours. Shout out to Weston Store, but
There you go.
they make some really good stuff, and it's I do not go out there without it. And it helps you wear less layers as well. Like even in earlier season, it'll be like 30 degrees in the morning, but then it'll get to 60 by the time it's like 11. So I don't want to be walking in and freezing for the first hour. And I'll just hit my little button, and then 2 hours later I turn it off and I'm good to go.
I mean that's huge too for if you wear a bunch of layers, you're sweating going out there. The time you climb a tree, then you're taking some of it off, but then at that point you're already wet, so then you start getting cold.
I don't wear my jacket walking in.
So you don't wear as much. You get in there, then you put it on. If you get cold, you flip a switch, and you haven't been sweating, so it's perfect. You got me thinking.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people ask me, like, what is in your backpack? Like, it looks like you're going elk hunting, and I'm like, it's my jacket and my sweatshirt. Like, I'm not wearing that into the woods.
Yeah.
Like, I could climb a tree. Like, no.
Yep. We got one hill. It's the death of us.
Oh my God. It's the first thing too. It's fucking 30 yards from the truck, and you're walking straight uphill. I get to the top. I'm like, give me a second, man. It's killing me. But
that's usually we don't layer up till we get up past that.
Yeah. So like, what about boots? You more of like a muck rubber type of boot, or you more like a hiking boot?
Early season hiking boot for sure. I use the mucks only when I have to, when it's cold and like it's necessary. I like to be extremely mobile. It's harder to climb a tree with the more bulky layers. So I definitely try to ride out the hiking boots as long as I can. And, I'll even use heated socks with those because then I can ride them out longer. But the mucks are great because I don't have to worry about like water. So I can like go through like creek bottoms and stuff. And they do keep you really warm, and they're extremely squishy on the outside. You feel like you're walking on marshmallows, so I'm able to hike for a long way without my feet hurting or getting calluses or anything like that.
I would say that was probably be the biggest thing I learned from this season. When I went to go over there to hunt Ohio, he was like, dude, get a pair of hiking boots. I'm a big muck guy. I have like 3 pairs of mucks. And he's like, no, hiking boot all the way. So I was like, okay, I'll try it. I just bought like a cheaper pair. I think I spent like $50 on these hiking boots. I'm still wearing those. I haven't switched to the mucks. We had to wear them the other day because it was kind of wet. But those hiking boots are a game changer, man. People need to figure that out.
Especially climbing, anything.
It just, I just feel more comfortable. Like my foot isn't just like so stationary in the muck. I got room to like, wiggle around a little bit. I feel like motion in my ankle.
We're not bashing the mucks. We love them.
No, I love them.
We love them, but I can wear them and be comfortable as can be. But it's just, I don't know. I feel like you can just dang near climb anything with those regular hiking boots.
Absolutely. I feel like I had to. It was a struggle that first day climbing the tree with the saddle and with the mucks on. I feel like I realized I really couldn't use my aider to the full potential. I have a 5-step aider that I use for when I want to get like 25 feet high or maybe maybe I'm climbing a tree that's on the side of the ridge. So 20 feet high in that tree might only actually be 15 feet
on one
for,
side
like, the
and
deer
30 on the
ridge.
other.
Yeah. So, like, sometimes I do want to get up higher, even my shooting angle is still only 20 feet. But sometimes I want to get up higher, and I cannot utilize that 5-step aider with the muck boots. I will use the aider as like a 1-step aider with the muck boots, because there's no way I'm getting my other foot up into the next loop with those mucks on it.
Right.
They're too wide and it's too tight.
You just don't have that range of motion to be able to move your foot.
Yeah, and then, like, those boots were getting stuck in the loops of the aider. So, and then I'm sitting on the tree, like, sweating to death with anxiety, like, trying to get them out of the aider in the dark. Like, no.
Getting ticked, yeah.
So, what kind of goals do you have for you and your brand?
Oh, well, I think I've always wanted to, work in the outdoor industry. I mean, if you're a hunter, that's kind of the dream, right? But you have to really love all of it. I think, like, you have to be, I don't know. I guess I realized that, like, hunting was not an escape for me. It was something that I wanted to be my everyday process. So that's when I decided to really, like, go for it, because I'm like, do I want this, like, suffering every day? Yeah, I like it. It's okay. Like, I can do this every day. It's fine. But yeah, the goal for my brand, I guess, is I am really huge into hunters supporting other hunters. I hate when people say, like, crossbows are cheating or baiting is cheating, and it's I think some people just don't realize that, like, laws are different in different states. And the thing, as far as right now goes, like, if it's legal in your state, I say go for it. If that's the way you enjoy to hunt, I say go for it. And I'm mainly just with my channel, I like showing my failures, because I want people to know that if you didn't grow up in this, or, if you're a female like me or a young male, it doesn't matter, a person, you can teach yourself how to do this. I tell myself, like, there's really no excuses. If you want to learn how to do it, you don't have to find someone who knows how to do it to teach you. There's the internet. We live in an age now where there's so much free information online. It's almost like going to college for hunting. That's how I feel anyway. I mean,
YouTube
and
University.
If you want to get really nerdy about it, you can listen to podcasts, and we'll tell you exactly how to put, exactly what we do. But yeah, that's my main thing, I guess, is just to, I'd like to think that I can be inspiring, especially to younger people, to, get off your devices, or heck, bring your device with you and film yourself. Make something out of it. We live in a day and age where social media, you can make your own job. You do not have to. You can live your dream and post about it, and if you work hard enough at it, and I don't know. You can make your own job with this, and you can live the dream. You just got to be willing to fail a lot.
Now, is there anybody in the industry or a YouTuber or something like that inspired you to do this?
Well, other than the hunting public, I would have to say that you guys had her on your podcast, Katelyn Moss. I really enjoy her content. I feel like a lot of her stuff is extremely unedited, and she's really raw. So I think that gave me the confidence to start, because I realized how unedited her stuff is. And I appreciate that her filming is a different style than mine is. I think that's really neat. I also really like Outdoors Alley on YouTube. She's made her way in the hunting industry, and I also think that she's somebody who's pretty honest, and females in the hunting industry, she's not out there like flaunting it. She's, they're both out there doing it by themselves, for themselves, struggling just like everybody else, not dressing a certain way or acting a certain way just for the camera. They're real. And that's what I aspire to be like as well. I want to be real. And, that's it, I guess.
You and Katelyn, I feel like, are very similar human beings. Like when we had her on the show, she was very, very nice. I mean, she laid it out there plain and simple on everything that she got going, just like that you did. I feel like you guys are pretty similar. I mean, yes, she has a different style, like you said, different filming style, and everybody's got a different view of what they want to put out there. Like we were talking about editing and stuff earlier. Like, I think I put too much pressure on myself when it comes to like putting that content out. Like, I feel in my head I just have to have like this perfect vision of like putting it out there, and hell, I sit there on the computer for 4 or 5 hours trying to get that out there, and then I'm just like, this probably looks like shit. But I just wing it too,
Yeah, and I mean, this is my 3rd year filming, but it's my 1st year really putting my content out there. The last 2 years, I always thought like, oh, this wasn't good enough, or I couldn't put it together a good enough story, and I kind of only posted little clips here and there. But yeah, I say you just got to put your content out there, because you've got to start from somewhere. Especially what I've learned from YouTube is like your first 10 videos, you'll be lucky if they get views. So you might as well just start posting.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, I've kind of noticed you kind of boom on social media lately. How was your angle on that? Like, how did you approach that kind of game?
TikTok mostly. I wanted to. Last year, I really focused a lot on YouTube. Didn't download TikTok until the pandemic, and I found that it's extremely easy to grow on TikTok. Not to downplay anybody who's struggling on TikTok at all, but if you're somebody that can like figure out the algorithm on TikTok, like once you figure out how it works and you're consistent, it's pretty easy to get a following on TikTok than it is on YouTube. Especially because the videos are very short attention span. It's 30 to 60 seconds. The shorter the video, the better.
TikTok, you can just go through with your finger on your phone.
Yeah.
YouTube, you have to kind of research everything, and it's longer videos and stuff.
And with YouTube and Instagram, people expect edited content, and on on TikTok, you can just hold your phone up when you're talking in the car and hit go, and you boom, 100,000 views.
He did it to me the other day in the tree stand. He said, "We're going TikTok live," and I'm like, "Do what?"
Yeah.
I mean, fuck it, like people are watching it. I mean, we had at one point he didn't even know we had like 300 people watching us or something. We're just sitting in the tree stand,
Not a deer around.
The funny thing is I used to, before TikTok came out, I used to make stupid videos on Snapchat and send them to my friends and family of me lip syncing to really dumb audio. And I would make a complete fool of myself with the filter and like just be like crazy, I guess. And then TikTok came out, and somebody that I know was like telling me, you need to get on TikTok because you basically send me TikToks through Snapchat. Like people are going to think you're funny. And I'm like, I'm retarded. Like, no, I'm not going to pick up on TikTok. No. But they kind of convinced me to do it. And you can just be silly and be yourself. And some content does really well and some content doesn't do well. But if it doesn't do well, hey, you didn't put that much effort into it because it was like 30 to 60 seconds. And I found that I try to do a mixture of like funny videos, trending videos, but educational as well. I'm huge into education, and I like explaining things to people and teaching them. And I had no idea that my educational videos on TikTok would take off for my saddle videos.
Yeah.
I had absolutely no idea.
We learned.
Yeah, I had absolutely no idea, and I was completely shocked. And my educational videos on TikTok kind of changed my life. And I'm extremely grateful for that. That was awesome.
So did you have some companies reach out to you from the TikToks?
Yeah, definitely the saddle education videos. Really, I mean, I've been talking with Tethered. They reached out, and that was kind of the start of it all. Tethered and a couple of other companies reached out as well, and they reached out when I only had like 30,000 followers. And they were so nice, and they were telling me like, we think you have something, and we think you should keep going, and we want to give you products to use. And I think it was because, I was using kind of like budget saddle stuff and showing educational videos. And I think they were like, no, you need to, here's some good stuff. Here's some real stuff to use, which I appreciate because it really changed the game. I mean, I can't imagine going into the woods with what I was planning on at the beginning of the year.
I can't imagine someone sending me that stuff and saying we really have backing me and all that. That's just awesome that you got
mind blown.
Oh, I'm sure.
tears were shed. Mind was blown. I was definitely calling family members like, "It's happening."
I bet Dad gave you that look like you found a shed again.
Oh, we had to only talk over the phone. He lives in New Hampshire, but I mean, he was telling me that like he got all of his guys at work to follow me, and they're all like, "Oh, when is that podcast coming out?" Or when is your next YouTube video coming out? They're all so supportive, and
that's awesome.
It honestly, if they were my only followers, if I only had those 10 people watching, I would work the same amount of hard to put out these videos, because it kind of fuels me to keep going, and it makes it worth it at the end of the day when somebody messages me like, "I learned from your video," or "You inspired me to try something new," and that's what kind of makes it worth it for me.
Awesome. Yeah.
And that kind of goes baback to like what I was saying about you and Katelyn being pretty similar. Like, she does the same thing. Somebody messages her, like I messaged her. Actually, I didn't message her. I commented on a video on her YouTube and said, "I would love to have you on the podcast." Immediately hits me with an email this and we'll work it out. You did the same thing. You messaged back and said, "Hey, I'm totally up for this." And that's awesome, because like I feel like we're the little people compared to like some stuff that you're doing with like Tethered and whatnot, and like you got a way more followers than what we got. But we just I want to know like what maybe some tips that you maybe for somebody that wants to try to get more followers and stuff. What do you think that they should do to do that?
Oh, well, I mean, I don't want to be cliche and say do what I did. But right. I do have to say that, like, if you're somebody who's learning, TikTok is a really great platform, because although they're extremely sensitive with hunting content, you have to be very careful with what you post. I've had videos taken down for drawing my bow back before for dangerous activities. So you have to be very careful with what you post. But it's so quick. I think because you're posting such quick videos, you learn very quickly what works and what doesn't. 10 videos on TikTok. I think I'm still working on getting 10 videos for YouTube. So like, but you can post a video on TikTok every single day, and you can learn in 1 month. You can go from 0 to 5,000 followers in 1 month and have an audience and have your life changed 2 months later. This kind of answers your question, I suppose. In the summertime, like I told my husband, we moved, got a new house, and I was kind of in between the transition of jobs. I have a clientele. I lost more than half of them, and I was kind of like part-time. And I told him, I said, "Hey, give me 6 months. Give me to the end of hunting season to put my full effort into making this work." And at the time, I only had 10,000 followers on TikTok, which in TikTok language isn't a lot. 10,000 followers on YouTube is a bigger deal. So that's something that I had to learn, that like you could get 10,000 followers on TikTok and you're still considered like a little smaller. Not to knock anybody, but like that's just, I guess, where I was at. And I told him,
we'll
like,
be high-fiving.
10,000,
we'll be high-fiving.
Trust me, at 10,000 followers, I was freaking out. I was freaking out when I woke up and had
Spill drink.
Oh geez. I was freaking out when I woke up and had 300 in one night. Like,
yeah.
But I said, give me 6 months, give me this hunting season to put my effort in. And I think just by throw your content out there, as far as it goes for TikTok is very much about your personality and just being yourself and being relatable. Relatable is huge. And trending videos is huge. If you're scared to post on TikTok, watch what's trending and do the stupid trends. Like, you'll learn how to use the app, at least, if you do the dumb trends. Not saying that you have to dance, because I think I only have like one video of me dancing, but you got to take the trending videos and make it your own. Every trend that I see, I try to make it hunting somehow. So as far as TikTok goes, I would just say, attempt to do the trends, get comfortable, and then throw in some original content. If you have a thought, you see a deer on the side of the road, pull up your phone, film it, say something funny, and post it with a trending audio. See what happens. My biggest video I filmed in like 30 seconds and my dad was next to me. You can hear him laughing in the background because like I'm literally getting out of the car, holding the phone, slamming it. Like I'm not getting good angles of myself. I don't really care.
Right.
And it took me 30 seconds to make that video and it has 2.8 million views.
Holy cow.
Yeah, and it's not a video I put a lot of effort in, right? And then I put all this effort into my saddle educational videos with 3 different camera angles, and like, yeah, those get good views too, but nothing like my stupid videos that go off. Like so.
I try to make like original videos on there, like we're sitting in the stand just goofing or whatever.
Yeah.
I just think on my TikTok side of things, I just probably don't try hard enough. I put as much time as humanly possible into filming period, and then we get the podcast, so I try to put everything on social media as much as I can. I mean, every little social media you can think of. I was actually going to ask you, have you ever heard of a social media platform called Go Wild?
No.
You need to check it out.
Yeah,
it's all uncensored, So they want you to post a picture of you there with your deer or whatever, and like I haven't seen one negative comment on this thing. And the more that you post, the more points you earn. They send you T-shirts and hats and stickers and all kinds of stuff. I've got all kinds of shit now from that thing. I post on it like 3 or 4 times a day. Like it's just I have a lot of fun on there because everybody's so nice.
And you get followers on that as well.
Oh, absolutely.
That's awesome. I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, definitely check it out.
People.
You could probably get a ton of more subscribers for your YouTube or whatever just posting on there that you're out filming for a deer hunt or whatever.
That's awesome. I'll definitely check that out because that's another piece of advice I give people, that I'm trying to use my TikTok page as like a funnel to my YouTube. Via TikTok, you can get banned like overnight and then you lose all of your credibility.
Oh, wow.
Like it's like all gone. One of my friends lost his like 200-something thousand subscriber account and he didn't get it back for 2 months. And some people just don't even get it back at all. So it's like I'm trying to use that as a funnel to push more towards my YouTube channel. So that's another thing as well, that your social media platforms can all like intermingle and,
right.
People can see different sides of you because on TikTok, I'm silly and on my YouTube channel, I'm a little more like, it's kind of more like hanging out with me.
Right.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
That's cool. Well, we definitely appreciate you coming on and chatting with us. It's been a really cool conversation. Where can everybody find you at on social media?
So I believe I have everything matching now. So it's Katelyn Armstrong, but the O is a 0. Oh, okay. So apparently there's someone else out there with Katelyn Armstrong. So the O is a 0. But if you type in Katelyn Armstrong into YouTube, or not YouTube, I'm sorry. If you type Katelyn Armstrong into Google, I'm pretty sure my TikTok page pops up at this point. So nice. And then on my TikTok page, I have links to my Instagram and YouTube as well. So if you find me on one platform, you'll find me on all of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate everybody that's listening or watching on the YouTube. But, hit that subscribe button for us and, check the podcast out and everything like that. And everybody have a good Christmas.
Thank you guys so much for having me. This was so fun. I love nerding out, talking about stuff. So thank you.
We had a blast.
Thank you, guys.